Hi, welcome to, I think, the seventh or eighth edition of Wikipedia Weekly, the Biodiversity edition. I'm really glad to see our friends again online and our special guests. We have a very packed program. We're going to talk about commons. So it's a bit a different edition than our previous editions, but we're going to talk about commons. We're going to talk about structured data in commons, to be more precise. But I'm also very happy to introduce our two guests of today, which is Jacqueline Dearborn. I hope I pronounce your name correct.
Yeah, that's cool.
She is from the Biodiversity Heritage Library, and I don't think it needs an introduction, but everybody in this group knows it. It's an awesome resource. I use it a lot to look at taxonomy descriptions, but I've been told by Jacqueline that there is much more into the biodiversity heritage library than only those taxon descriptions. So I'm really looking forward to talk to Jacqueline about what's in the biodiversity heritage library. Then we have Sandra Fauconnier, and she is here today to talk with us about commons, structured data commons, but more specifically on OpenRefine. How do we use OpenRefine in? That's correct, Sandra. Like you're going to talk about those topics, yes?
Yep.
And then, of course, we have Siobhan, all-rounder mentor on how to share biodiversity information and mods. And then we have Jan Ainali, who is so nice to share, to lend us this platform. I'm really grateful. And I'm Andra Waagmeester. Yeah, also working on Wiki. I'm very enthusiastic about Wikidata. So how was everyone?
Good.
Good.
Great.
Okay.
Looking forward to today.
Sorry, yes, I say that again?
I'm looking forward to this. I'm really looking forward to this. So much to learn.
So yeah, this is also fun because I didn't mention for Siobhan it's Saturday morning. For us, Sandra, Jan, and I, it's a Friday evening, and Jacqueline it's I think Sunday early afternoon, right?
Yeah, it's about 12:30 over here in Los Angeles.
So Jacqueline, can I give you the floor to tell us a bit about first what the BHL is, and then how we can help with how Wikipedia, the Wikimedia platforms can help sharing the knowledge.
So as you guys probably know, Biodiversity Heritage Library started in 2006. It's a consortium of natural history libraries that cooperatively digitize their collections and put them online in a central place. And since 2006, BHL has digitized almost 60 million pages, which is incredible, I think, especially considering how many institutional capacity constraints we face. The Secretariat is hosted out of Washington, D.C., out of the Smithsonian Libraries. And one thing that we started doing in 2011 is uploading BHL illustrations to Flickr. And I can actually, in the chat, put the Flickr link for everybody. Let's see if I can do that here. I think I put that in the private chat. I'm not sure how to put it in there.
I'll share it to everyone.
Thank you, Jan. So that's the Flickr collection. To date, I think there are 319,588 images that have been uploaded into the BHL Flickr collection by BHL staff. And a lot of those images have actually made their way over into Flickr's or into Wikimedia Commons. I believe a user named Faye, I don't know exactly who this person is, programmatically loaded over 300,000 of BHL's files into Wikimedia Commons in 2015. Which was awesome. Thank you so much, user Faye, for doing that. We don't know who you are, but we really appreciate that work because it's made BHL's images more accessible to the Wikimedia community. And then also in 2015, BHL updated all of its licenses on its Flickr collection to be CC0 to promote reuse. So that was another awesome thing. And the most important thing that might be relevant to your work, Andra, and your app Tarsier that we talked about a little bit was that BHL began crowdsourcing machine tags for its species images in Flickr in 2012. And those machine tags are actually the link to, that could potentially be used to populate Wikipedia pages and Wikidata pages for species. So I'm interested to hear more from the group about that. And I think that's it. And I think I had an image, but I don't know how to share it because my screen sharing is kind of weird. So I apologize. I could give the link to you guys, and maybe that would be helpful. Let's see, try that.
So I'll see if I can share that one.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm sorry, I'm not used to this platform, but
no worries at all.
But that's just like kind of a brief timeline of if we are able to share it. It just gives a brief timeline.
Ooh, I need to log in. Let's see.
Oh, sorry.
If it works. I don't have permission to see this design.
Okay.
I'll ask for permission.
I'll try one more time. Try this link and see if that works. That's a present.
All right, let's try that. That works. All right, now let me share it. Share my screen. All right.
Yeah, so that's basically in a nutshell, like all the things that I just said, but in a more visual format. And I guess if I didn't cover anything, if the group has any questions about BHL's Flickr, feel free to ask them now.
It's not really a question, it's just a comment. I've done quite a bit of tagging on Flickr. A while ago now, probably 2 years ago, but I did a significant amount. And Andra, if you are going to use those machine tags, one thing you should be aware of is that there are normally two sets of tags, or can sometimes be two sets of tags. One is the name of the species in the literature, which is where you get it first. And obviously that, because the literature is old, it is often that those tags are synonyms rather than actual current taxonomy for the Flickr images. And then if you're like me and sometimes gets curious and you go away and actually do a bit of research as to what the current name of the species is, and then you'll add exactly the same sort of machine tag, but with the current name. And then in the comments, if you're really thorough, and sometimes I was and sometimes I wasn't, you'll actually say this one is the current name and this one is the name in the actual literature. So I'm just saying, if you do, the tags are very useful even though they're synonyms, but if you're planning on sort of importing in bulk and then putting them into categories and commons, just be aware that it may not be the correct taxonomic name for the current correct taxonomic name for that image.
I wanted to postpone the discussion of Tarsier to the end of this session, okay. But the thing I wanted to argue now, and I might be a bit pedantic here, is that I'm actually against bulk uploading, which is the idea of because that will create a redundancy. More on that later. But the tool that I will talk about is Tarsier, which points in. I believe our favorite tool, iNaturalist to Commons, is the same thing. You don't do bulk uploads of media, but you have the tools to select an image once you need it. But later on that more. Before we continue to Sandra Fauconnier to talk about Commons, are there specific questions you'd like to ask now, Jacqueline, or shall we postpone that for later?
I think I'll hear all your talks and see if anything percolates in my brain. So feel free to go ahead, Sandra.
Sandra, tell us about, well, maybe first a short introduction about Commons, and then of course OpenRefine.
Yes, so I'm Sandra. I have been a Wikimedian for quite a long time, and I have been working on structured data and commons. At this moment, I also work on the OpenRefine tool, which is maybe not known for everyone listening to this or watching this video. It is a tool for doing batch operations with data, cleaning data, but you can also use it to batch edit and batch upload data to Wikidata. And at this moment, we are also modifying the tool to make sure batch edits to Wikimedia Commons. And later this year, in the summer, we will also release a version of OpenRefine that will allow batch uploading to Wikimedia Commons. So I'm here a little bit with that hat on. We are actually enabling editing structured data on files on Wikimedia Commons, which should help with making the files there more discoverable. Maybe I can share my screen and then give a bit of examples. Let's see. I will share my entire monitor. So if this doesn't go well, then I'm sure I will hear you complain. So
there we go.
Because we have a guest here from the Biodiversity Heritage Library, I have to say I am an art historian. I am totally not specialized in biology at all. So forgive me if I sometimes get the terminology wrong, but I am a fan of biodiversity heritage. So I often look at the collections of the Biodiversity Heritage Library on Commons. And yeah, as you said, we have like 300,000 files from the library on Commons, which is a lot. And I think one of the questions is, how do you make these files more discoverable, that people can find them, use them as illustrations in Wikipedia article, but they are also discoverable to Google and hopefully also discoverable multilingually. So this is just one category that I found. It's a convenient one. It's not very big. That's, I think, a report from an expedition in which year was it? 1873, with illustrations by two botanical illustrators. This is just one example of a group of files from one of your collections that you collect on the Biodiversity Heritage Library, which has been gathered in a commons category around this specific publication, but otherwise every image depicts another taxon, I would say. So I would say it would be interesting to see if we can add more data to these images so that they become better discoverable. And one way to do that is by adding structured data to them. Since 2019, it is possible on Wikimedia Commons to not just describe files with wiki text. So if you go to an individual file and if you go to its source, I will not go very deeply into that, then you see that in plain text there is description about that file. And that is, I think, the information that has been taken either from the Biodiversity Heritage Library website or from Flickr or from various sources. But this is monolingual, this is plain text, this is not structured data. And we added functionalities for multilingual data, multilingual tagging on Wikimedia Commons files in 2019. Let me see which tab that was again. I have so many tabs open here. I will get there. Yes, here we go. So this is the general information page about structured data on Commons. I will not go extremely deeply into it. If you're interested, there is a video which explains the principle. I'm just going to look at one file. It's unfortunately not a biodiversity related one, but it's one of the best described files on Commons, which shows sugar cubes. And so this piece shows multilingual captions, which help to make the file more discoverable. So you see that the file has captions in all sorts of languages, including Chinese and Korean, so also in other alphabets. And then if you click the structured data tab, then you actually get data about the file that is linked data, you could say. It is multilingual data that says all kinds of things about the file, like what is shown in there, sugar cubes, of course, but also who was the photographer, what's the copyright status of the file, the source, when it was created, etc., etc. So this can go quite far. Also, coordinates of the point of view, the place where the file was, the photograph was shot. All of this information, if I now would switch my language here, that would take too long. But if I would switch my language, my interface language on Commons to, for instance, let me say Japanese, then all this information would switch to Japanese. And it helps to make the file searchable in other languages as well. So for instance, if I search now on Wikimedia Commons for butterfly, which I like a lot, Dutch butterfly, dagbouwoog. I actually don't know what the English name is of the butterfly, fly. Dagbouwoog, then you will see a new search functionality which has also been shipped together with structured data on Commons, which, regardless of which language I'm searching in, will show you results, related to the search, because structured data has been added to these files. So this is a very quick principle. This kind of searching is now also integrated into Wikipedia. So when Wikipedia editors are writing an article about a specific taxon, for instance, when they type the name of the taxon, also if they type it in another language or the common name in another language, they will use this search mechanism and they will retrieve files in whichever language they are described because of the structured data. So this has only been in place since 2019. So a lot of the files on Wikimedia Commons still only have very limited structured data. For instance, if I go back to one of the files in the category that I had here as an example, this from this expedition. If I go to one file here, it shows a specific plant. You see that it does have the wiki text here, but if I click on structured data, it doesn't have any depicts information. It only has a date, which I think was added by a bot at some point. So we do have bots, like Wikimedia users who create little programs that spider the wiki text, so the non-structured text, and they take out a date and they take out other things that are really easy to extract, and they will add it as structured data, but more like refined stuff like actual tagging and actual like transformation of this wiki text to structured data that has been done to a few million files, but not to all of the files on Commons yet. And so that's where tooling comes in. That's where we as Wikimedians are helped a lot by various tools, all sorts of tools and scripts and gamification and including Tarsier, that's Andra will demonstrate later today, that help us to actually describe these files better. I'm working on a project with OpenRefine, which is a really powerful tool to also do such things. And I'm going to plug it now a little bit, demonstrate it in a very quick way. Looking at the time, I don't want to take up too much time. I do want to plug that, so my demo here will be super brief, but in the upcoming week on the 22nd of February, we are having a community meetup. For Wikimedians especially, but also everyone who's interested in where we are in this building process of including structured data functionalities. It will be held through Zoom. We will make a recording afterwards and publish it afterwards on Wikimedia Commons. So if people want to see in depth what we are doing with long demonstrations, then you can also go there. Please just come to the meetup. No need to sign up. You can just show up there. That was just some publicity. Quick demo of what we are doing. So this is OpenRefine. This is its interface. I hope that's kind of visible-ish for people because my screen is rather large. This is an opening screen.
Once?
Let me try. Oof, I am on my PC and I'm not really used to zooming in here.
Perhaps?
Control plus?
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Perfect, thank you.
Oh man, fantastic. Thank you so much. Well, this is the opening screen of OpenRefine, and I already loaded 2 projects in here, 2 data sets that I want to work with. And the first one is actually the files from this category here. If you want to link it in for the audience, Jan, I put it in our Google preparation doc. I hope you find it.
Right.
So that people can just check what we are looking at here. So what I did is I loaded this list. So I used another tool to retrieve the list of file names from Wikimedia Commons, and I loaded it into OpenRefine. That's what we have here. And I will actually redo the process just very quickly. So I will go on my computer, take the CSV, and okay, just gonna call this PHL very quickly. Reading a project here. This is a very quick fly through. So here we have a column of file names on Wikimedia Commons file paths. And the first step I'm going to do is actually, for people already a little bit familiar with OpenRefine, is look up these file names on Wikimedia Commons and look up their corresponding entity numbers. So their M numbers on Wikimedia Commons. And I'm going to use the Wikimedia Commons reconciliation service for that. Users who already use Wikidata within OpenRefine will be familiar with the Wikidata reconciliation service. I'm going to use the Wikimedia Commons reconciliation service. As I said, next week it will be explained much more in depth. Start reconciling, and I'm using the Commons reconciliation service. Now this is always, when it's a live demo, I hope it goes fast. So what happened now is all these file names have become clickable links, and they are now linking to Wikimedia Commons itself. So every file is now actually linked. Yeah, don't look at these columns. These are just administrative data. I'm not going to use that. But a powerful thing that we can now do is actually extract in this data set the wiki text from these files. So I'm going to do an operation now in OpenRefine, which says edit column, add columns from reconciled values, and I'm selecting wiki text. Okay, then I'm saying okay, and then when I tried it an hour ago, this went really fast. OpenRefine will now give me a column with the wiki text of all the files that we had here. Now this is just a very small data set with only 64 files of one category, but of course you can take a much bigger set of files. Theoretically, I could take all the Biodiversity Heritage Library uploaded files, all 300,000 of them, and also load them in OpenRefine and do exactly the same operation and then start working with it. So now just for demonstration purposes, so that it would go quickly, I took 60 files or just a bit more. So now we have all the wiki text here from all these files, and I can now use this wiki text to extract all sorts of bits of information from that, like the illustrators, like the depicted species. If there's stuff interesting in the categories, I can take that. If there is interesting information about the licenses, the copyright status, etc., I can extract that, make different columns in OpenRefine, and then operate further. So I'm going to go back to the other data set, which is actually the same data set, but I already was a few steps further. So here I am a few steps further. I did extract the URL, which is the source of where that file was taken from. So it's the specific page in the Biodiversity Heritage Library website, where you'll see the publication itself, a hot link to that specific page. You see that it is plate 1. And I also extracted the taxons, the taxa, from the description as well. So that's a few steps I did in preparation here. Now I can then reconcile these taxon names, which are just strings with Wikidata. I'm going to do that. Reconcile, start reconciling, looking at the time, with Wikidata. It's going to recognize that we are looking at taxons here, reconcile, and I hope this goes quickly.
While you wait, Sandra, can I ask
Yes.
a question? I mean, this reconciliation is going on the labels, right?
Yeah.
But can you also do it on properties? There is a property scientific name, for example.
Oh yes, we could totally do that. Yeah. Yeah, so you can actually combine properties if you do reconciliation.
Yeah.
If I would have another column that has like the common name or the scientific name, etc., then I could actually add those to help the reconciliation become better.
Cool.
So yeah, this is just a demo, of course.
Yeah.
I can imagine that this data set with the wiki text has older taxon names that are not accepted taxon names anymore, so there may be mistakes. Basically,
it might be better. It might be to use the the category name rather than the name on the plate, because a lot of the times the name on the plate will be the synonym, but the category name will be, hopefully, touch wood, the current name.
Yeah. So if I would do this for serious, I would be more careful about the things I extract. This is really for demonstration purposes.
It can always be. It's a wiki.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just to show now it's possible to edit Wikimedia Commons, and with the batch that I've now reconciled, now we have the Wikidata entities for several species. I think we have 44 batches here. I can actually go ahead and start editing Wikimedia Commons. So I'm just going to quickly do that. I can actually say, so this is still very much under construction. This is software that we are still developing further. This is not the final interface yet. I can take the file name here. Oh yes, of course. I am not set up yet. Yeah, I can theoretically, it's not working. Take the file name here, add the statement, like saying depicts the specific, let me see, species, taxon. Yeah, it gives me an error. And I can also add information about the source of the file, etc. And then I can drag the link here. I have to improve the schema. It's not the perfect schema yet, so it's just the principle. And then I can already upload my edits to Wikimedia Commons. So with this functionality here, I can then log into Wikimedia Commons and do these edits. Just 2 hours ago, I did some iNaturalist identifiers, adding them to Wikimedia Commons. Yeah, this is the principle. I will stop explaining here. This is really work in progress. So we are now, I am actually working here, not with the official last release of OpenRefine, but with a snapshot release. So the official release that you download from OpenRefine 3.5.2 at this moment does not support this yet. This is really like a build version that I'm working with. We will come up with a release at some point where you can actually do this, and we will improve also the functionality so that you can also do uploads. But yeah, this is a system with which you can do bulk processes faster than with other tools, and more refined and more
this is absolutely amazing. I'm just thrilled. I can't wait. When's it going to be live? I want it to be live now.
Well, what I'm doing already, when you use a snapshot release, I'm not sure if I opened that in the tab, but I can put a link in the chat. When you download the snapshot release of OpenRefine, you can basically already do this stuff. It takes a little bit of weird setup that you need to do, but you can already do some batch things. So
I'm quite keen when it actually goes live on OpenRefine to push it out to a whole load of GLAM and GLAM folk I know who are good at OpenRefine already, and this will just mean that they can upload to Commons and edit stuff in Commons and improve the structured data on Commons for their content. That'd be fabulous. It's just great.
Exactly. Sandra, are there also plans to include this in the OpenRefine version on PAUSE, the server of Wikimedia?
So the OpenRefine on PAUSE is not managed by ourselves. It is, it's actually managed by a few Wikimedians who do Jupyter stuff, and they decided to host OpenRefine on PAUSE. That said, they are really responsive, and they usually are very quick in making sure that the most recent version of OpenRefine is also available there. So I'm sure as soon as we have a stable version ready that people can work with, we just ping them and we ask them to put it there as well. So,
and if they are watching, you would make my day.
Oh, well, I don't think now I would not advise them to already do the snapshot version that I'm working with. This is really still, it's wonky, use at your own risk. But as soon as we do an official release, yeah, we will certainly tap their shoulders and
Cool.
ask
This
them
is
to
really
do
cool
it.
stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing. Looks so good.
Will you be covering this again at the meetup that you mentioned, Sandra?
Yes, and in much more depth, because now I really skipped over it very, very quickly. But during the meetup, we will do actually 2 demos of what people are already doing with it. And we will also talk about next steps, what we are going to develop next, because this is not the whole picture. I mean, we are going to improve some interfaces and also actually building a plugin into OpenRefine as well, which will allow you to, for instance, do stuff like you give it categories and then it will load all the files from those categories rather than needing to use another tool to generate a list of file names. So we want to make it as easy as possible for people to use it.
Very cool. Very cool. And I have a question because I don't know that much about structured data commons. Does it use the same ontology that Wikidata is? Is it? Yeah. So it's not.
Yeah. I totally forgot to mention that, but yeah, structured data commons is basically pointing to Wikidata items, and that's where the multilingual nature comes from, and that's what makes it linked data. So it builds upon structured Wikidata. So every Wikidata item can be used as description for a file on commons.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, to add to that, there is also a Sparkler endpoint that you can leverage. So you can actually integrate it with other RDF resources, which is really exciting.
Can we put the link in the chat for that?
Give me a second.
Just about to.
Make sure you have the official new one because
yes.
Yeah.
So,
what if you federated searching across both?
Yes, you can do that. Yeah. Okay. It's not super simple. I think, Andra, you actually asked me some time ago, like, how should I do that?
There are a few examples because there's an example folder, and there are a few like, how do I do to federate in between them? And those are actually really useful to take a look at.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not that hard, but it's a little bit tricky to start it.
If you're comfortable with Wikidata queries, it helps, but there are some slight differences with the Wikidata query service. I think you need to be logged in to this one, and yeah, but I'm super excited on that because you can actually write a lot of queries.
And is the eventual aim to get all that wiki text into the structured data commons for greater description and searching, obviously?
I think that would be a big step forward indeed, and quite a part of the Wikimedia of the Commons community is already moving towards that. In the visual arts domain, we are actually already at a point where like you can almost remove all wiki text from the files about paintings and about sculptures, because there is a system in place that actually by scripts take the structured data and display information about the file just from structured data. So you need very little wiki text anymore. I noticed that, for instance, for describing specimens, etc., that's not the case yet. So these templates on Commons have not been converted to structured data power yet. But that's a thing to do, because I think that will be a big benefit. It will also remove the duplication of effort, of course. You have duplicate information in wiki text and in structured data.
Right.
It depends a little bit on what's in the wiki text, because not everything that is described with free text fits into the structured data.
Correct.
Sometimes it's tricky, but most of it should be able to be converted to it.
Well, what I'm also really excited about is that the EXIF information that are aligned with pictures goes to structured data. There is apparently a bot, which is really exciting, because you can actually, if you're interested in iNaturalist and you see these epic, awesome pictures, you can actually say, just give me what camera was used, what was the lighting, what was, etc. You can get those information, which is really, really helpful.
And some of it is already available to query for even without the structured data. So we get to some you can get immediately from the EXIF. And then there's some that you also want as structured data. So some of it we can get in two ways.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, Sandra, thank you very much for this. This is exciting. I will ping you with a lot of other questions, so you might want to block me on Telegram or on the other channels.
That's a good warning. I will do that.
And so I think it's you now, Siobhan, right?
It is, but I feel completely inadequate. My workflow is just so practical and minuscule in comparison. I mean, I just had my mind blown. It's just amazing. Yeah, I was just going to show how, just because I've got some friends watching and they don't know quite what I do, how I do what I do. And it's very manual. It is very the other end of the spectrum, where I still use structured data on Commons. I still add that, but it's a very manual sort of process. So I will share my screen now, Jan, if that's okay. And sorry. So this is what I'm doing at the moment. It's not all the time. And this is from a plate, not from BHL, because this is actually the original watercolor hand painted images from the author of a book that's basically it's a 1928 book that's the be-all and end-all of New Zealand moths at that point. And I just wanted to show folk my basic, very quick workflow and just practically do it. So the first thing I do is use the crop tool to crop one of these so that I've got something to work on. Come on, let's work. Oh no. Why is it not connecting? It should have connected, sorry. Allow. We'll get there eventually. There we go. So then each one of these images is quite important to have in and of itself. So I just crop an image. This is number 31, and I know what I'm working on in a minute. And that'll do. I like having the line there because that's actually a measured length. And I do lossless. I go preview. Upload as a new file, and it's figure 31. Upload. And I say figure 31 rather than the species name in case the species name actually changes. Then I go and review results. And with the crop tool, what it does is it pulls in all the data from the previous plate. So I don't want all this data, so I actually have to edit this. So I will go through and find 31, and it's not sequential. Here he is, and I will go and edit, and this I'll just delete and delete, and then I'll also do the same for the species name and the category. Where is he? There he is. And because it's no longer obviously should be included in these categories because it's not the whole thing. Delete. And delete, and then I will save that. Editing, description, publish changes. So now we've got this one image. So I then go, then go and copy that. And I actually go to the Wikidata item. And I'll add it in as an image in the Wikidata item. So we've now got an image of the species on Wikidata, and I will go back to the image and I'll actually make a category for it. The way I do it is it's already there, it's already in there. And on each of these plates, you've got a category. Copy the category, and I use text. And then I put a pipe in between just to say that it's that particular category for the genus, but it's this whole species. And creating category. So now we've got a category created, and I'll now go, that immediately brings up the iNaturalist import button that I've already installed so that I can bring in other stuff. But before I do that, I will actually go and add the categories to the Wikidata item. And the whole point of this is to just make it all beautifully interlinked.
Mm.
And I'll actually refresh that. And I'll go back to the categories and edit again because I want to make sure that the Wikidata item is pulling in stuff. And add the Wikidata info box. Come on, there we go. So that's pulled in the Wikidata info box. And that's the last thing I do is I go and upload any particular images that I like the look of. Now there's some that I've already checked about what I like. I like that one because I know it's been ID'd by the top lepidopterist of New Zealand. So I'm completely confident that that is what it is. I'll upload that image. And it should be working. Oh, someone else is doing something with file. What? Okay, let's try again. I don't know why this is not working. It normally should. I'll just get out. Yeah, okay, I'm going to get out of that. It might have already done it. I don't know. I'll just refresh and see what happens. Yeah, I don't know why that did that. And then I also want a couple more. These two have also, it's the other sex. Well, I think this is my, yeah, this is, I think, the male. And I'll do the same thing. And again, I've double checked that this particular one has been in iNaturalist, been identified up to research grade by the lead lepidopterist in New Zealand. So I'm completely confident that is what it is. Just get out of that. And then I'll refresh again. Once it's finished. And then I'll go down and use the structured data on commons tool. And I want, at the moment, there's no structured data on commons as to what is depicted. So I will go all. Yeah, I'm selecting all of them. I'll ask it to set the target, and it immediately brings up the correct species name. You should always double check, of course. So I'll say, yes, please. And I'll say, yep, can you edit that for me? And it's now telling me what's depicted. And then I will go to, I'll just pull it over, the Wikipedia page. And because I like having a actual photograph of an actual moth rather than an illustration, I'll put that in the, I always edit source. So you could do it visual editor, but I just edit source. Add that to the taxon box, and I'll say publish. But also this particular, let's go back to the category. This particular image here is very important because it's the first, it'll be one of the first illustrations of this species. So I like using this image where I've actually mentioned Hudson, who actually drew it, and it actually is in the book. So you see here in the taxonomy section, there'll always be, for a New Zealand moth, that George Hudson either didn't discuss it, well, if he didn't discuss it, it won't be there, but he discussed a lot of moths in 1928, the New Zealand species. So I like adding the illustration to the taxonomy section. So again, I'll go edit source and go to taxonomy, leave a space. Ah, damn, I used the wrong thing, sorry, hang on. Need to go back to the image. That's the one I want. Copy. Right? No, why is it not working? This bloody thing? I don't know why it's not working. Let's try again. Oh, that's why. Copy text. Sorry, guys. That's. And normally I like having it on the left. And I also will change the name. So it looks nice. And that is me stopping sharing.
Oh, I actually wanted to ask if you could go back to the comments, because I wanted to, what you actually did is that you added.
In comments. Sure, I can do that. That's no problem. Yeah.
Because you added actually the image to a lot of other Wikipedias by just making the link in Wikidata.
Okay, cool. Okay, hang on. Let me go back to the category, or
no, the first image that you cropped. So the one that you initially put that image on Wikidata.
Yeah.
And then if you scroll down to the bottom. More. Yeah, there you see file uses, and you suddenly see it's used on SEP Wikipedia, the Swedish Wikipedia, and for some, I don't know how it works, but if you go back to that page in say an hour, the list will be longer. I think the Polish one, the Catalan, the Spanish one, they actually take the image that is listed as P18 image in Wikidata, and they build their info boxes from it.
Now, admittedly, if the illustration is the only image I've got, that's the one I stick in Wikidata. But now I know and have already just uploaded 2 images, one of which will be the male, the other one which will be the female. I will actually change this and add the female and the male into this image with, information, with metadata to say this is the gender or sex of the female organism, gender or sex of the male organism, so that you've actually got the 2 images. Even if the species, the male and female, look the same, I still do that. If I've got a caterpillar, I'll add an image of that, and if I've got an egg, I'll add an image of that too. So yeah, I like having 4 images, all life stages for insects. Just having an adult one sex of the species, for me, is not enough. Yeah. Anything else you want, Andra, while we're here?
No, I think we're good.
Cool. Yeah, but I just wanted to show people the practical workflow of actually, just using the images and how easy it is once you crop it to what the one species you've got, using it, again, setting up a category, putting structured data on all the images because you've got that category. You can link the category to Wikidata. You can link the Wikidata to the category, and it's all seamlessly interlinked and easy to find, both structured data-wise and also just via someone looking at the category, and then also on the Wikipedia page. And of course, once you've got it in Wiki Commons, you can then go and edit in iNaturalist. If you've got, say, no images in iNaturalist, so citizen scientists don't know what they're looking at, and you can only find one image. I've put illustrations, those illustrations, in iNaturalist because, as curating the species page in iNaturalist, because they are the only image of that species that I can find. So at least then citizen scientists got something to work off. They're not perfect by any means, and of course you should replace them once you get a proper observation, especially if it's research grade. But it's better than nothing. Yeah.
I have a question for you, Siobhan. How quickly will your edits populate search results in Google? So if I were to
pretty much immediately.
So if we were to go and search for that specimen right now, then...
I'm not sure for the image searching, but I know for Wikipedia, I mean, it's normally within 15 minutes at most. A lot of the time, it doesn't take long. It really doesn't take long. So it pops up. Yeah, if you go look now, look at hang on, I'll just get the species name again, and I'll go look and share. I'll share my screen again and go have a look. So let's go just to a search. So there's the Wikipedia page, first result. Go into images.
Yes.
There it is, first result.
Yeah, that one, I don't know why they're pulling that one in. Oh no, I do know why. It's an iNaturalist one. It's probably that one is probably not openly. It's unlikely to be openly licensed, but it might be the one on iNaturalist that's being used as the
It's quite interesting with the personalized search result, because I get the 3 that you worked with first, and not the one we didn't see.
Well, it probably knows that I go to iNaturalist New Zealand a lot, so There's not a day goes by that I'm not on the platform. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, it's pretty much.
We should check DuckDuckGo. Anyway, really great. So I wanted to use the opportunity today to mention a little pet project that I did over Christmas. It's called Tarsier. And I built Tarsier as a wrap-up on top of, and now I should have this, on top of, let me see. Are you sharing my screen, Jan? So, which is a wrapper around GBIF. And we all know iNaturalist in this group. We are actively searching iNaturalist and iNaturalist. Let me quickly go there, and I have some. I need a new, yes, here. So if you go to iNaturalist, there is this really nice search screen where you can. Okay, I quickly need to log in. Let's see. So we can actually search some occurrences, explore, can go in and say filters that we want birds, and that we want photo licensing, and we would really like to, because for Wikipedia articles, we are only interested in these three, the CC0, CC BY, or CC BY SA. If a license is anything of the other three, they're incompatible to be uploaded to Wikimedia Commons. And so within iNaturalist, you can say, let's say I'm interested in iNaturalist, update search. I should remove, and it will tell us that we have about 145,000 birds that are available with a Wikidata, with a CC0 license. So all these images that you can see here, you can reuse on Commons. Just download it to Commons and then use it on Wikipedia. However, GBIF is an aggregating website. It's and I'm probably not doing them right by saying it's an aggregating. They have a lot of biodiversity data, but with respect to images, and the iNaturalist annotations and images are also available to GBIF, but with that, a lot of other collections from natural history museums or any collection you can imagine. So it's also a go-to for information, biodiversity information you want to reuse. So it works a bit like iNaturalist. You type in the specimen, the species that you're interested in, and you'll get some data with information. You get where they are located, and here we have a collection of images. Now you kind of hit a dead end in GBIF, because you have to go image by images. Contrast to in iNaturalist, we have to, where you can filter, give me all the CC0 images or CC BY or SA. That is, to my knowledge, and I hope to be corrected, not possible in GBIF. And the reason being that we are dealing with various levels of licensing. In iNaturalist, like in GBIF, you have the records. These are the annotations. They are annotated, they are shared with a license. Then you have the images that can be shared with a different license, and the same go for sounds or anything else. So you have to filter through the licenses. So when I went to the APIs of GBIF, I actually saw that there was a search. You did have a let me see, occurrence collection of apps under searching, and they had the keyword license. So the API does allow searching for licenses. Unfortunately, this is only on the record level. So what I did to kind of replicate the same sense of filtering for licensed images, I created Tarsier, which is available on GitHub. And And this wraps around the API of GBIF. So let's go with the, let me quickly see where, well, we can go. So for example, the default one is Euphorbia nerifolia, but a taxon name is provided. And what it now does, it goes to GBIF and it fetches all the records that are either shared as CC0 or CC BY, and it will list the it will return this. I know UX, the user interface, needs improvement, but now it lists that locations with CC0 and CC BY. Again, this is a bit inaccurate because these licenses apply to the collections and not the images. So, but what it tells you is that for this specific species, there are images available in the NMNHA's, Naturalis, Field Museum of Natural History, the New York Botanical Garden, Carnegie Museum, etc. And here we have PlantNet observations, etc. And what you now can do is go to, let's go to Naturalis, and it will list images. And here is where it checks if the, so up until now, we were checking only CC0 and CC BY catalog records, but this is a final check where it says these images can be uploaded to Commons. So let's pick one, and I should maybe start a new collection because this is my default page and even the default selections. So now what happens if I select this image, I'm uploading it to Commons, and I get sort of a similar page as, well, actually we get the exact same page as in as with iNaturalist. And we can, so here you have the wiki text, it provides the license, it gives the file name, and it provides the URL that is available where the source, where the photo comes from. And now when I upload a file, okay, this is great news. And this image was already uploaded to Commons. I wanted to stop here because that is a bit of a question that we need to be wary of, and that is, how does it deal with duplicates? So maybe it's a question that Sandra can answer. What are the detection? What are the duplicate detections in place? I've noticed that it's quite good, except when the image is cropped. So it does. So there is, by using Tarsier, there is a risk of that you create a duplicate. Mm-hmm. I've released Tarsier a month ago, and I've uploaded a lot of images using Tarsier, and I ran into 2 of those cases, and then I typically just request deletion. Mm-hmm. That's fine. But this is a point that probably needs more work, and I'm wondering whether we could use structured data commons here as duplicate detection.
Oh, good question. Yeah, so the current system that Commons uses for duplicate detection is the SHA-1 hash, for people who are familiar with that. So every file has a hash, specific, like a string of characters that is unique to that file. And when new files are being uploaded, they are being checked against that hash. But that only works for, indeed, what you say, exact duplicates. And as soon as there is a little bit of difference, then it doesn't work anymore.
No.
And the bit of research that I've done, but there's, I'm not super versed in it, is that there are other hashing systems that are more loose, in the sense that you can also have hashing systems that are looking for similarities for like 90% similarity, 95%. And then you would catch, indeed, like files that are just different file formats, but the same file look the same. Or indeed the crops that you mentioned, if the crops are not too aggressive, then you should also be able to catch those. However, Commons doesn't implement those yet. So basically you would have to run these hashing algorithms again over all the files and then store them indeed in structured data. And when uploading new files, you would have to use the same hashing check when you upload your new file, and check it against that new hash. So it is not trivial. We've also looked into it already a bit for OpenRefine. We also want to use the exact match system, preferably, because we don't want to cause many duplicates to be uploaded. But yeah, it is a bigger conversation to be had with the community at large. Yeah.
So I'm still confident for using Tarsier, because what Tarsier does, and I will briefly show that, it will create categories. So you can actually see here that in the wiki text, it's going to create a category Euphorbia nerifolia, and well, we can and this will enable. This will show you, if you go to the page, the duplicate will pop up immediately. So, but I just wanted to make this point, that be wary that you might create some duplicates due to the image might look the same, but due to cropping or other image processing tools, the duplicate detection doesn't work here. And so I think I really need to create I really need to start creating a new example, because my Euphorbia is, I guess all the images made it into Commons. So I have here a batch that does the same. So, and I ran 200 Tarsier on 200 cases. So here I'm looking at the Scoparia dulcis, and it found that there are images in iNaturalist, and we can actually now go do the same as I did before. So now I have here some collections from Naturalis. Any preference in this group of an image that I should upload?
So when I'm looking for specimen images like that, I try and find a specimen image with leaves, with flowers, maybe with berries if you're lucky, depending on, I try and get a specimen that's got, and roots, a bit of everything, if you can do that, just because I'm trying to hit all the top, trying to make it as useful an image as possible.
So let's see, would you say this one? The right one?
Yeah, that looks good, because it's got roots, it's got a nice structure, you can see the leaves, and it appears to have some flowers. So yeah, that'd be good.
This one, okay. So I have another check. I actually don't like this because of the yeah. So let's go back and
how about what about the one on the right? That one looks okay. It's got roots, it's got leaves.
This one,
yeah, I think so. I can't tell if it's got any, from my screen, I can't see whether it's got any flowers, is the only thing.
So I'm now uploading it to Commons, and again, just check it. This is the source URL from Naturalis. This is the information of the description. It puts as author institution Naturalis. We have the source again. There are some location. If the location information is captured, actually, I see a little error I need to fix. And it should be curly brackets, but that's one. So it creates a category. It shares the location if that's part of the collection, and it gives the GBIF. So it's embedding all the information that is readily available.
I like that you can choose it. I really like that you can choose it, basically, because you don't want to have all the specimen images from all the institutions.
Exactly.
And Wikicommons, that's too many. You can actually choose the institution that has the most open license. So you can go for the CC zeros rather than the CC BYs or CC BY share alike. So that institution who's more generous gets more of a boost from the wiki community, as so they should.
Yes.
And you can also choose the images that are most useful to you, and then think about the other people who might also be using them. So I really like that on your tool. It's great, Andra.
So now I'm uploading the file, and it's live. So please go. Yes. So now we have this on Commons, and as you can see, there is the description. There is the date, the original date, which is not today, but May 3rd, 2010, which I think is when it was digitized. It has a link to the GBIF occurrence where the picture came from. and it has some Wikidata information about naturalis. It has camera location. It took the license in, and it has a GPEF banner with provenance information.
That's lovely.
This is the history. So now there is already a Scoparia dulcis category. Let's see if we need to do anything there.
That's the other thing. Sometimes the category has its own, not botanical illustrations, herbarium specimen subcategory will sometimes be there, which, you know, it's random. So whether it's there or not, so it's kind of hard sometimes.
So and then from here on, and what I also always do is I just take the specimen name. It depends if it's only one picture, I do it manually. Just say depicts, and then type in the structure data information. Then I also type in the collection, because the collection came from Naturalis. It's part of the collection of the Naturalis Biodiversity Center, and I published the changes, and now we have this in Commons.
A question there. Would we like to also make a qualifier for depiction, or something that it is a herbarium because it's a very specific kind of image?
It's a good question, or you could say instance of.
Yeah.
So data modeling on Wikimedia Commons is not very, in some domains, not very crystallized yet. So I actually don't know how you would do it.
Is the wiki species community actively involved in the data models for Wikimedia or for Commons and Wikidata?
For Wikidata, not some. Well, there's certainly numerous people who are in Wikispecies and also Wikidata and also Wikipedia of their particular language, and they cross-pollinate. There's certainly taxonomists and informatics, biodiversity informatics people who are quite vocal on Wikidata as to how they think well, they're being experts in, you know, biodiversity data. They're you know, giving us advice. Which I tend to take because they're more expert than I am. So yeah, but yes, there is a community that is into this type of structuring the data and the best case, but it is still under debate on platforms as to how we like to do it. Yeah, community consensus, hopefully.
Okay, I need to do a step back because there's one topic I didn't address yet. So here you can see these are all collections or resources that do have images on this specific species. And let's go, for example, to the university. So now it's always a bit of browsing, because we need the images, and as you can see, none of these images can be used. So the Arizona State University does have a lot of does have images available, but the license, although we search for CC BY and CC 0, is undefined, which is what I mentioned earlier, that only records are structured, not the license of the image. So here we cannot do much other than trying to convince the Arizona State University to go CC 0 or CC BY if they want to be shared on Commons/Wikipedia. And there is an other one, and I'm going to find that now. So the natural history is already there. And University of South Florida, the Botanical Garden. I'm looking for a new one that would have open data, but will not go through. Yes, let's go with. So the same story for PlantNet. PlantNet is a very nice resource. I like it a lot because they also, in contrast to iNaturalist, you have to annotate where the image is taken. Is it the flower? Is it the plant, etc. So in here you see the other case where they are actually compatible with Wikimedia. So it's NRM NIFO CC BY SA. But as you can see, it currently says media license not compatible. The reason being that it's kind of impossible to parse this as being the CC BY license because they have the other names in there. Having said that, now that you see this, you can actually upload it the traditional way of just downloading this image and putting all the metadata in yourself. I'm selecting, I should have prepared it. I'm selecting another one because the other thing that I want to mention, let's go to iNaturalist. I thought, let's go to the iNaturalist. Oops. Okay, I'm going to find another one. Because I think this one is going to the Artportalen Swedish Observatory System. I think that one is a nice one. Oh, no, they also have not open licenses. Let me check. Oops, there it was. International. Let's go here. No, this is a special case. Yes, I'm going again. I'm going again here. Okay, I'm going to use this as an example because there is another point. There is another point to make. So the Naturalis will be downloaded, but the issue that I want to make, and I had one prepared, but here this one is this. So next to being CC0, the resources should also be listed on Commons. And okay, cancel. Let's go to a new site. And what we need to do is, to be able to upload with Tarsier or any tool, you need to suggest that this URL is opened to download. So what can happen is if you go through the process in Tarsier and you notice that an image has an appropriate license to be reused, it will still be blocked for the fact that the domain is not listed here. And then you have.
This is in Tarsi that it will be blocked from uploading. Is that right? In your tool?
No. This is Commons.
Okay.
So for Commons, I'm maintaining a list on the wiki project Biodiversity. For the diversity is that the BFS is a list that resources that are currently listed. And where is Tarsier? And here. So here you can actually see that iNaturalist, Naturalis, Arts Observationer, MNHN in France, the Natural History Museum, Kew Botanical Gardens, species recordings from the Danish National Library, Lauro Malo Private Collection of Lepidoptera in Estonia, the Natural History Museum in Rotterdam, the Meijer Botanic. These are now vetted, and as long as their collection has the correct, you can use Tarsier to upload.
Okay.
The Atlas of Living Australia is also vetted, but here we are running into an issue that the URL of the ALA is being redirected to an image on Amazon Cloud. And so there's a bit of an issue there. And there, what I do is I use Tarsier to just go to the common space, but then instead of downloading it through the URL, I download it locally and then upload it on Commons. That's kind of like a side trick. But this is something that I'm still. So these three can also be sourced in Commons, but need an additional step. I will write documentation on this soon. And then here I currently don't have any list of domains, but if you run into an institute that you would like to be available through Tarsier, you can either list it here in this category or propose it yourself on Fabricator, which is here. So you can say domains allow listed, are initiated, etc. If your media is not listed below, please request, and then you can go to the Fabricator and then type in some information. You can actually find inspiration in these fabricators that I wrote. For example, is a large collection of images, and I give an example and the metadata, and then it's being feathered, and at some point it's being accepted. And the moment it's being accepted, we can start using that source.
Okay. So I noticed that Auckland Museum, for example, that's one of my go-to places to get specimen images. So if I wanted to use your tool and Auckland Museum has already was in that list, will that mean it would automatically be available via your tool, or should I ask you to edit? It's automatically available. Okay.
If it's not allow listed, so we can go back to the list. So in the list of where is it? I'm going too fast.
It's got two listings. One was Auckland Museum and one was Auckland Museum API or something like that.
Let's discuss this offline. I don't think it's not in the list now, but yes, in principle, we just need to add it to the list of allowed listed, provided. And there is one thing I know of some institutes that actually have CC BY, and this is also a shout out to someone more familiar with the GBIF data structure. And if you can assume, and this is a question, is you can assume that if the catalog is CC BY, so in what cases can you assume that if they say all our content is CC BY? I'm currently ignoring it for the simple fact that I don't know if it's the case, but maybe it is. I expect that in some cases, the main fact that in some cases an institute will say our complete collection is CC BY, but that currently doesn't show in GBIF, at least to me. So that is something that we need to discuss. But those are the main thing with respect to Tarsier, is how do we get those collections modeled both in GBIF. So how do I read in GBIF? So the moment the GBIF would annotate every image as being with the appropriate license, this would be more streamlined. And then on the other side, we need to list all the appropriate URLs, all the appropriate domains from GBIF to Commons if we want to use that.
Right. Okay. Okay. It's amazing. It's a great tool. It's going to be very useful once I get my head around it, just because it searches multiple institutions. You don't have to go to each institution and then go, here's the species name, have you got it? Or even just go to GBIF. I mean, it's not. Yeah, it's good. And then having to trawl through the licenses, it does it for you.
I have a question, Andra. Have you talked to GBIF about adding that to the schema for the images so that they do include the license?
Yes, and I think actually before I started this, I put an issue on GBIF, and that GBIF discussion started saying that it's more complicated because I'm only interested in still images. And what I understand, but I'm only saying this for what I read in the GBIF issue, is that GBIF is also dealing with video, sounds, and it's not as easy as just adding another layer to the images. So I think that still needs some thinking. But in the meantime, that was my idea. So when they said that yes, we're thinking about this, but currently it is impossible, that's where I came up with Tarsier. So yeah, maybe, and that would be good news. I can kill Tarsier within pretty soon, because that has been modeled in GBIF.
And I just want to give a shout out to a lot of BHL partners that have their images probably open to put your selves on the accept list on Wikipedia, or the Wikidata Biodiversity Project, where Andra had pointed us. So make your images open so that they can get into the ecosystem.
There is one thing I forgot, and I should briefly mention, because we've released it. Let me quickly find. Yeah, we have this picture. So there is already about. So if we have reuse, there is a category reuse with images, and these are all the images that are currently have been uploaded with Tarsier, and you can actually now query this. I'm working on a query to say give me all the institutes that. I did a sprint on dragonflies, and then give me all the natural history museums that have specimens of dragonflies, and I can do that with a single query. It's not an interesting query yet because there are not that many dragonflies, but if this builds, you can actually query the commons for specimens, and then you know which natural history museum you want to visit if you're interested in a specific visit. And only that, which to me is the beauty of Sparkle, you have one query, whereas like Siobhan already said, if you go to individual institutes, you have to adhere to their API. Like they have a different API, the other have a different API, and you need to learn the structure of that information.
Yeah.
Which is a shout out why I love Sparkle. You only have to learn Sparkle, and you can query all the APIs that are out there.
Yeah.
I have another question.
Nice.
Are you writing the metadata to the structured data commons?
Not yet. So I'm working on. So I'm in a parallel universe. I'm working on a tool called the Wikidata Integrator. That is a Python library. I'm adapting that to work with structured data commons. The only problem is there are some slight differences in the JSON being used in commons, so it's not that easy. But yes, that is. And have been really excited what Sandra just showed, because I think since we have images from TARS here, I think, but maybe Sandra needs either to reject or confirm this, I think we would be able to use OpenRefine there.
I think so too, because you are uploading them all with the same structure of wiki text, so it will probably be quite easy to extract it. That said, I actually also think it's worth the effort looking into doing directly additions of some structured data. I can imagine like the collection should be not too hard, because you have a limited list of collections. The species, I can imagine, is harder, because then you have to do a Wikidata lookup. But yeah, I would be interested if you if you try it on your side as well. I mean, yeah, OpenRefine is there to do it, but it's I think even better if you could do it from the start.
So I'm currently using a template called information, where I can add a wiki text. I'm hoping and wondering if it's on the drawing board to extend those templates with structured data information, because then if that's the case, it's really easy. I just add the SDC to the info box, to the information template, and it would just populate it. But currently the SDC is something that I have to do manually. And I'm doing, because for me, this the main selling point for both Commons and Wikidata is that it's a really brilliant semantic web layer, where you can what we have been doing. We didn't mention any time in this call that we were actually creating RDF. We were actually creating semantic web. We didn't use the word ontologies, and it just automatically happens in the background, which I think is one of the unique selling points of this. So I'm really excited that now we have. Well, I had been telling this story for Wikidata, but I believe we have a really powerful tool in our hands, that we now have on one side Wikidata for knowledge, but that we also have Commons where we can actually store specimens to Commons. And this is, I think, is really exciting. Which might be a segue. I see we are already running quite late, but Sandra and I wanted to do something, because we wanted to add a property to structured data commons. So the structured data commons uses Wikidata properties. Now in Wikidata, there is a property called the iNaturalist observation ID, and we would like to have the GBIF occurrence ID, because then we would be able to add to as structured data commons also the GBIF ID, which I think opens up a lot of use cases. So shall we go there? And that is maybe a question which I don't know. It's my understanding that to propose a property for commons, I have to do that in Wikidata, right?
Yeah. It's basically the same process. I'm extremely rusty proposing properties, so it's been months since I did it.
Shall we do it, or
let's do it?
Okay, I will open. It's the same here, and so I'm curious. So I will go to Wikidata property proposal. So to Jacqueline, what happens is, are you familiar with Wikidata and its properties?
Yes, I am. I was actually, that was one of my questions was, I guess, how do you go about getting a new property? Should BHL have an illustration property? Maybe down the line. But I'll watch what you're doing right now and we'll think about it.
Okay, here I might need some help from either Sandra or Ian. Where do we go? Because I usually go to natural science, but I believe that would not be the case, right?
Would it be sister projects? No, probably not. Poof. Commons.
Commons, it has a category. Okay.
I'm not sure if I ever proposed a property for commons, so this is
my first time too.
Yeah.
So and we have
property name is GBIF occurrence ID.
Occurrence ID. Is it occurrence or
double
occurrence?
Double R.
And it's late for me.
Spelling Nazi is here.
No, it's occurrence ID. Do we agree on this?
I like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we have this page.
Wow.
Okay. It's always a bit scary, but let's do this while people are watching us. And so we have the GBIF occurrence ID.
Yeah, we need other languages.
Yes. Description. Do we want to describe description in English? What do we write? Occurrence identifier for occurrences. Occurrences of species in the GBIF. In GBIF.
Yeah.
But do we want to say more in GBIF?
No, I don't think you need to say more. But I'm assuming people know what GBIF is. You shouldn't have to describe it, surely.
You could use the Q number for GBIF, so it actually links later.
That's true.
That's a good idea.
That's actually true.
I'm on now, and they describe it as occurrence of species at a particular place on a specified date.
Okay.
So are these unique for one image?
Yeah.
For one, no, for one occurrence.
So there
might be several images. Yeah.
So I can do indeed.
I think. I'm not sure actually. I'm going to go check.
I know, because Tarsier now, it's a bug I need to fix. If I'm uploading multiple images from the same occurrence, the same name is being generated. So the quick fix is just add 2 between brackets, and then it will continue. But okay. So I have this. Okay, now it's interesting because we need a subject item. So this is different than Wikidata.
I'm not sure. You don't have to fill in everything, right? Do you?
No, not everything needs to have anything.
No. Infobox parameter is also just in the case when it's used in infoboxes. This is actually just the Wikidata.
Yeah, so we remove this. Right? Yeah.
You can still have it.
You can leave it open.
Yeah. Leave it blank.
Data type is an important one, though. That's external ID.
Is it? Yeah. Yes.
It is. Yeah. It's an identifier.
External ID. So we can do that, and then move. Oops.
No, you removed everything.
Yeah. So external ID. And the domain is, what should that be?
I think this one
commons?
would be commons.
That is media info entity.
Yes, that might be the technical name, yes.
No, because this is the occurrence. It's not pointing to the media entity. It's pointing to an identifier. Or are we talking about the domain?
It says domain, yeah.
Okay, sorry. I misunderstood. So it's media and then?
Media info entity.
Yes.
I think. I can look up a similar example.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good start.
It wouldn't just be used in Wiki Commons, though. I mean, if there's an occurrence ID and you're actually using the
exactly
Wikidata, you'd use the GBIF occurrence ID as a reference as well in Wikidata to say that that's where you got the image from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly the same as what you do with the iNaturalist.
Yeah, exactly.
IDs. Yeah.
In fact, you could probably copy a lot of the stuff from the iNaturalist property proposal.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's indeed so. The iNaturalist.
So that's the observation ID.
Yes. And where is the proposal? I have
the last one before the constraints.
Format URL, format, see also property proposal. Yeah. So.
Living things domain.
Okay. Observation identifier, external ID, living things. Okay. Well, we can actually copy allowed values. So we have.
Can they not be dead?
I know, that's what I was thinking.
Maybe it's a general term.
Formerly living things.
Yeah, formerly living things.
And current.
Yeah.
And no.
Don't edit iNaturalist now.
No. Normally living things. Allowed value, I guess, is the same. Yes.
Yeah.
So it
I would
is.
say so.
Yes. Doesn't it? Can it not have a 0?
I think they're just numbers.
I think this one says it cannot start with a 0.
Okay.
I'm not sure
yes.
whether. Yeah.
So the first must be 1 to 9, and then any number of digits.
You are completely right. So moving this, allow units is nothing. I think. Source is gbif.org. gbif.org. Okay, yes, examples. And I think we have
find
enough.
Those in your category.
Indeed. And let's go back to just pick a random one and go from there. Oh, this is a nice one. And so so I need the context, right? This was a bit of a find because this is.
The reason they'll be taking the images of the heads is because that's how you'll be able to ID the idea. The mouth parts and the markings on the face for dragonflies are really important.
Oops. And where was I? And
I'll put
I'm
a couple more in the chat.
Leave this one. So I'm going for copy link address. This is going to be interesting. What do I do? Do I do? Do I do it like M and then this?
I don't think we have a template like that.
Okay, so we probably should just do the URL.
You could just do it like an external link.
So like this.
Do we want the entity or do we, hang on, stop. I would have thought for the example, instead of having the commons, you would have the link to GBIF, the GBIF occurrence, rather than the link to the commons. So I would go back to your image, go down to the GBIF link.
Yeah, but that
is the value.
That's the value.
Oh, okay. All right, then I'm confused.
Then I would do this.
Oh, I see what you're doing. Well, wouldn't you do the QID for the species, for the occurrence, or is that just me?
That's Wikidata. Yeah, I'm also. I really need to go slowly here, because I think this is what we want.
Yes.
So
The answer is yes, I'll shut up.
What we can argue is, do we want to have the entity ID, or do we want this commons address?
Oh.
Just put stuff there. We'll fix it later. And I'm sure our humble audience members of the audience will just go there and fine tune it for us. Let's just put URLs.
And then we're going to Tarsier again and find some others. Let's find another beauty. I'm a sucker for dragonflies, so this one.
I know. That's a great photo.
Concept, URI, copy, link address, go here. And then, so this, and then where was I?
But should we have one example on Wikidata as well as?
For a reference, yeah. Do we have
that's a good question. I mean, we had this discussion in I think in the Telegram channel. Yes, in the iNaturalist, the iNaturalist current one is only being used as a. So yeah, maybe you're right. So let's then quickly. I'm going to write a query to find an example for iNaturalist, and then I don't know. The problem is I don't know. I think we want one from Wikidata, but I currently don't have an example.
Let's add it later then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm with you there. So we want to copy this URL, put it in that. And then let's see, go back. So here you can see that it's just copied to the Swedish, Polish, English, etc. Anyway, I'm digressing again. I shouldn't. Any specific one that I should with the fish? Let's go for a fish. Oh no, my sharks. I like the Naturalis has some really nice sharks. Where are my sharks?
There you have some sharks.
Where is the shark? Here. No, I think I started that before I made a category. So I initially started out with media from GBIF and then introduced the Tarsier category when I realized that others can upload GBIF. GBIF. I like these images somehow. They actually seem to be able to create a lifelike appearance. So let's do for this one concept URI, copy. So again,
what was it with all the clippers?
I think
fascinating.
I think that's how they create, but we need to ask people from Naturalis how they have they have quite some pictures where they use these clippers, and I think they use this to get some natural posture to their. So they have, if you go through fish and the fish collection of Naturalis, they have specifically sharks, but also stingray set out like this. Now I don't know if this is the archive but this is the actual. I'm planning to go to Naturalis anytime soon.
What I think this is a wet specimen, and so they've taken it out of the jar because it'd be preserved as a wet specimen, and it looks to me like you can see around the clips there's white bits, and maybe they're holding bits up in order to actually hold the specimen up for the image, maybe. I don't know. Or in a tank, possibly in a, they take it out of one wet specimen thing, put it in the tank, and then sort of have it hold it in the tank. So it's possibly. It's quite an interesting. I'd be really interested to find out how they digitize it, because they must have a workflow.
Exactly. It's really fascinating. So if there is someone from Naturalis in the audience, please do tell us. Let me see. Wait. So this, and now I need the GBIF occurrence ID. GBIF. Okay. Do we do a fourth one? Yes, let's do 4.
Nah. Oh, okay.
No. Okay.
Just carry on.
We are already over time. So plant use. Okay. Let's check plant use. Source. We have images. See also. What's see also pre-3151? What's that one?
Oh, that's other iNaturalist. We also have other GBIF properties, right? No?
We should also refer to the iNatural observation idea, because that's similar.
Yeah.
Completely true. So that is okay.
And we also have GBIF taxon ID. That's P846.
So I'm first going to do. Oh, this is the proposal. So I'm going back. So this P56 that needs to be in there as well. Number of IDs and Paxton. Okay. Oh, the C also.
And the other GBIF taxon ID I've just put in the chat for the property. It's P846.
That's P846.
846.
Okay.
I'm actually surprised that the occurrence ID isn't already a property.
Yeah, me too. I'm surprised as well.
Yeah.
I would have thought it would have been a no-brainer, but it's just how it works, you know.
Still a lot of work to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Plant use.
Use it,
Let's see. Add provenance to images uploaded in Commons.
Add reference in Wikidata. Use it as a reference in Wikidata.
References in Wikidata similar to this. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess we're going to delete this. I don't know. 25 million. What is it? Well, we can check now, but it will be. Let's expected completeness. No.
Never.
I would say always incomplete. No.
Always incomplete.
Always incomplete. Yes.
Formatter URL is a fun one.
Okay. Yes, indeed. I think it's the same as iNaturalist, except that we need to do. I'm going to copy this now.
You just do $1 instead of the identifier.
Yeah.
When you have the URL.
So it is. I think it. Well, we can find it, but well, let's be complete, because before we make an error, I think if I go back, let's go back one. I have here the GBIF occurrence ID, and that is this. So we replace the number with $1.
Yeah.
So it is. Okay. Do we want to external links? No. As references. No. I think we're done, right? Robot and gadget jobs. Do we? Yes, kind of, right?
OpenRefine. No.
Let's leave it.
Tarsier.
Yeah.
OpenRefine, Tarsier. Manually. Topic sister projects. Yes. Applicable stated in value. References.
GBIF.
Yes. So you have that in the top.
Where?
So that would be the stated in GBIF.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you can take the Q number from the top. We used it there.
But did we?
It's Q.
No.
Yeah, I've got it.
This one.
Yeah.
Q. Where was it? Here.
There we go.
Yeah.
Applicable stated in value. Yes. So this can go. Okay. Single best value constraint, distinct value constraints.
No. So we could have several. So you can.
Project. So So I guess it's this. So, okay. Add your motivation. Currently, what did we write for motivation in here? Naturalist, citizen science products. That's like, okay. I'm not going to copy that. GBEF. What's GBEF? Let's see if we can copy paste something. gbef.org is a free and open access. Yes. GBEF. GBEF or free
portal, free and open access portal to biodiversity data. So between access and to football.
Biodiversity data and images.
Yeah.
There are currently quite some of those images. License, I will make it complete. CC0, CC by. They don't have CC by SA, right?
No, they don't. Just those two. Yep.
Yeah.
They don't use CC by share alike because it's not compatible with them.
Yeah. Capital license, which allows. Current record to maintain provenance.
Nice.
Also
and Wikidata.
Yeah, okay, and Wikidata. Yes.
I just can. That's where I'm going to be using it. That's why I'm still pushing it.
Does it need more than this? I mean,
no.
This is excellent.
This is good.
Yeah, exactly.
Well done.
Okay.
Press publish.
No, I'm always doing preview. Property proposal. Okay.
We can always edit it.
And we have. Did we say something? Let's see where this goes. Yes, and then you always have this fun transclusion.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we have external identifier, gbef.org.
That looks good.
It looks quite good to me.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to. Did I sign it? Yes, I'm going to publish page. Here goes nothing. Yes, and now I always forgot how to do this.
Yeah.
So I think I need
Press
to
the do it.
Please do it. Yes.
Yeah, and I think I need to add it, or is that already there?
I think it's automatic, isn't it? I don't know. I haven't done it for so long.
Exactly. No, I think I had to copy the link. So I do Wikidata property proposal, then go back, and then just do. Okay, show again. Okay, well, I guess just publish changes. Yes, we have it here.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yay!
Now I should give someone the screen to show how you support it. Just let's go for the full process.
I can do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now I have to find it again. Just a second.
I will share the link in.
Thank you so much. Here we go. Discussion, editors. I hope I'm in the right, I'm in the right place. Then bullet points. Useful proposal. Do this. Oh gosh, I'm on my PC, help. Where's the tilde? Yeah, I found it. Preview just like you do. Here we go. Ta-da! Such support!
Yay!
Yay!
So now we wait 1 week to 4 months to see where this goes.
Indeed, yeah. How long does it take these days? I'm very curious.
At least 7 days.
Yeah.
So
well done.
It says like after the discussion has stopped, it should be 7 days more.
Did you put the link in the chat for the users so that they can support it?
I will do that.
Oh,
yes.
Good point.
There is also a very nice comment by Vijay Barve about GBIF indeed also has fossil data. And I ran into some very nice use cases that you can actually, I think, especially in the dragonflies, you could have the actual live specimen, and then there were suddenly fossils from that, which was really exciting.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I wasn't able to upload those fossils yet because it seems like quite some fossils already made it to Commons. So it was there where I got confident that the duplicate detection in Commons really, really works. Because they had totally different metadata than the ones being added to Tarsier, and yet still when I tried, it's like, no, it's already there. So
good.
So does BHL just need to get all of their images into GBIF so that you can use it with your Tarsier app?
That would be the easiest, but well, Tarsier has been a Christmas project, but maybe I'm already thinking of other use cases. Tarsier is now completely sourcing GBIF. But I could imagine that we think of more resources like maybe BHL. And there are other ways. So my selling point of Tarsier is that it's a linked data creator for images, and I'm using the BHL as a use case. So yes, we can do both. I mean, we could think of, but I need another holiday because it's a pet project. But yeah, I'm happy to think in that direction. If you put it on GBIF, also the modeling of the licenses can use improve. Oh, and by the way, if somebody out there wants to steal the project, it's on GitHub. I should actually share it. Yes, go ahead and maybe make it better. Or I have no issues with anyone just taking it and making it. It's just MIT license on GitHub.
Great.
That's me.
Yay.
That was fabulous.
Well, thanks for having me, you guys. It was so fun to meet all of you, and the workflows that you showed, Siobhan and Sandra, were so awesome. I'm really excited for the new version of OpenRefine to come out and try it out on some BHL categories. See if I can replicate what you did.
Cool.
I'm actually thinking, and I'm looking at Siobhan, maybe we should go back to our Wikipedia writing on this. So maybe the next we should just not talk about technicalities and do a next edition where we take a set of species with some fossils and we're just gonna I mean what we've done today, but then really writing on one Wikipedia article.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, well that's pretty much what I'm going to town on. Moths. I've got so many of the blazings to do. So yeah, I'm writing Wikipedia articles, doing the Commons workflow, doing the Wikidata workflow because I want to include the first description. And also there's more and more properties now that you can add to the species item, which I'm enjoying, like the type locality of the biodiversity type locality of the specimen that, heaps of stuff you can add. Yeah.
Oh, and I think we should also say that we take requests. So if you're from a region and you say you want to write a Wikipedia article, I think I can speak for Siobhan at least that we're happy to write that Wikipedia article.
Very happy to write about anything. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you. And we'll see you later. Thank you.
Have a good week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.